Broadcasting from the BLC studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, this is What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe, the man who wouldn't be all that angry at his brother if he showed up on The Bachelorette. No, really, I'd just be confused because I don't have a brother. Anyway, now here's a man who's like a brother to me, the host of What's the Score, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. I was about to say, I feel like I know you pretty well, Josh, but if you have a brother you have not told me about, I would be a little concerned.
I was wondering if I could trip you up with that one.
Thank you. It was a Stump the Baxter this week instead of Stump the Scheibe. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. We've got a great one in store for you, as Game Master Scheibe mentioned. 3 incredible contestants, 3 incredible panelists as well will be joining us. And if you would like to be a contestant on our show, we invite you to go and check out our website, WTSSportsQuiz.com, or go visit our Facebook and Twitter pages and sign up for some sports quiz fun.
You can also find the show on demand on the Sports Podcasting Network, Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, and Vavel USA.
All right, we have 3 great panelists this week, and let's tell you about them as well. First up, he's a sports journalist, a Yooper, and a former all-conference lineman at Wisconsin Lutheran College. Please welcome Ian DeMarse.
Thanks, Baxter and Josh. It's good to be back. I'd like to give a special shout-out to Jonathan Lucroy for vetoing his trade to Cleveland and helping my beloved Detroit Tigers.
I'm sure they thank you for that. All right, next up, he is a writer, a musician, and a contributor at buckskiball.com. Please welcome back to the panel, Mitch Vomhof.
Hey, thanks to be here. I also have a confession. I don't have a brother either. Feel you, Josh.
Oh, it's rough. I have 2. You guys want one of mine? You can have it.
Are you giving them away?
Maybe. The middle one. You can have the middle one. All right, and finally, he's a sports enthusiast, a videographer, and a recent college graduate of Marquette University. Please welcome Michael Beiermeister.
It's game day, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go and let's take care of business.
What a season.
What a season. Time to be here. We are excited. Well, welcome to the show panel. It's great to have all of you back. And, of course, Mitch, it's been a couple of weeks, months, decades since we've had you on the show. And
it's been a while. As soon as the Bucks took off for the summer, I also took off.
You did. You went to Europe, traveled around.
Really
made a couple million.
Had to find myself.
Had to find yourself. Backpacking in the Himalayas does things to a man.
Oh, yeah, I've seen some things.
Exactly.
All right, well, it's time to get this show on the road with our first contestant game. Joining us on the phone to play Quotable Context is Eric Little. Welcome to the show, Eric.
Hey, thanks, guys. Glad to be here today.
All right, Eric. Well, you're going to be playing our first game called Quotable Context, where Game Master Scheibe will read you 5 quotes from this last week's news, and you must correctly identify the context of each quote, get 3 out of 5 right, and you will win a What's the Score prize. If you do get stuck on a question, though, Eric, you are allowed to ask one of our 3 panelists for a hint, but only one time, okay? So make sure you choose wisely. Are you ready to play, sir?
I'm ready.
All right, here is your first quote.
I haven't seen the show. To be honest with you, it hasn't really affected me a whole lot.
That was what NFL quarterback finally breaking his silence about his little brother competing on The Bachelorette?
That would be Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, that is correct. For those that have been following the show, Jordan Rodgers has made it all the way to the final 2 on the show, and this week he could find himself engaged as well. But the biggest thing that people have been talking about is that it's a publicity stunt for Jordan, that he can't live up to his brother's fame in the NFL. At the end of the day, though, it was kind of nice that Aaron was able to at least say, hey, you know what, we don't talk very much as we found it on the show, but I wish him well and, hope for the best. But do you guys think that getting involved with stuff like this makes sense? I mean, was Aaron right to speak out the way he did, or what do you feel like that?
I think when he's kind of approached with it, because there was a whole weird thing with his brother saying, I don't really talk to my brother.
Yeah.
Which,
both brothers
again,
said that
we
too,
established... Don't have a brother, so I don't really have the frame of reference.
I'm sure, if I had a brother, he would say the same
But I'd
thing.
be real bummed if my brother went out in public and was like, yeah, or my sibling again.
Your sibling, yes.
Was
in general.
Like, no, I don't talk to my brother, and I was also famous. There's a lot of jumps you'd have to take.
Yes, I understand that.
I mean, when you're
wouldn't be a fan of it.
When you're the heart and soul, though, of the state of Wisconsin,
you are.
You decide whether they're happy or sad for most of the year. That's a big
There's a lot.
job.
You have a lot of people weighing heavily on what you do on a weekly basis. All right, Eric, here is your next quote.
All right.
I'm kind of pissed off, but it's not a detrimental thing.
That was New York Jets quarterback Geno Smith this week showing his overwhelming support for what player finally signing with the Jets?
That'd be Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yes, that is correct. Fitzpatrick was holding out way longer than he needed to for money he really doesn't deserve because, let's be honest, his 2015 campaign was good. The Jets were decent, but not the amount of time that he held out for it. But at the end of the day, the Jets have re-signed Fitzpatrick. But as far as Geno Smith goes, the Jets really would have been off better calling Tim Tebow or even Brett Favre to come back and play for the Jets instead of having to go with Geno Smith if it were to come to that. But I don't know. What do you feel about with Smith, his comments, but then also with Fitzpatrick taking so long? It's different if it would be Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or even a good quarterback. But
I feel like Geno Smith's just saying that because there are rumors that now that Fitzpatrick did sign that Geno Smith could be the odd man out there since they already have
Who's
Petty.
going to trade for Geno Smith, though?
Well, they said they just might release him since they have Petty and they just drafted Henberg. So they're saying that Geno Smith's that guy who's going to be the man out.
I am all team hashtag get that money. So get that money, Ryan.
That's how Mitch lives his life on a daily basis.
Get money or die. No,
we try. Anyway, all right, let's move on.
My 2004 references don't play.
Okay. Here's your next quote, Eric.
I've dated 2 girls at the same time before.
That was Martellus Bennett this week talking, trying to compare dating to what task that he's currently doing in NFL training camp.
I'm going to guess negotiating a new deal.
No, that is incorrect, actually. Bennett is he's trying to learn how to play with 2 different quarterbacks. For those that are fans of the New England Patriots, they realize that Tom Brady is suspended for the first 4 games, and Jimmy Garoppolo will be the starter. So trying to figure out, which quarterback is going to be, doing that. But I need to step back, though, for a moment. The fact that Bennett was so obvious and said that he's dated 2 girls at the same time before. I don't personally have experience with this, but from what I've heard, Mitch, again, no siblings, no 2 girls at one time, apparently, but they always find out at the end of the day, Martellus. They will find out probably why he said, I used to do that. But at the same time, he's kind of like he's dating 2 women at the same time with Jimmy and Tom, of course. If Tom wears his Ugg boots to practice, it's basically like dating a high-classy woman, but who knows? Who knows? All right, here is your next quote, Eric.
They are saying us and Golden State are the super teams.
That was a somewhat very oddly confident Derrick Rose this week saying that what team in the NBA will also be a super team?
The New York Knicks.
Yes, that is correct. I'll be the first one to admit that I don't know everything about basketball. However, I do feel like I know enough to say that when Rose talks about something like this, that he's absolutely insane. Because the Knicks have done a great job of signing people that were relevant 5 to 10 years ago. But now, I'm a little confused by this. Mitch, you're the basketball guy
As
in the
someone
room.
who knows everything about basketball,
Please,
I agree.
Please help me understand his comments on this. Does he have any does he have any bargaining rights in this?
Derrick Rose, speaking of getting that money, Derrick Rose got his money.
He did.
You got to be confident. Like, if Derrick Rose is healthy and he plays well, the Knicks are a good team.
Well, isn't every team in sports, though? If they're healthy, they'll play well.
Listen, I've written about the Bucks for a long time.
It's true. They've been healthy for a couple of years and still not that great.
It's interesting to look at this just because I know a lot of people are comparing the Knicks, what they are now, to what the Lakers used to be a few years ago when they had Dwight Howard and Steve Nash.
Mm-hmm.
They got a bunch of great players, but
they were good 5 years earlier. But Dwight Howard, though, anyway, that's not.
But they're saying that the Knicks aren't even going to make the playoffs still with all these signings that they just got.
It's going to be hard to know, honestly, what the Knicks do. But Phil Jackson, he's a wizard of sorts, so I'm curious to know what he decides to come up with. All right, here is your final quote, Eric.
No one makes better scrambled eggs than me.
That was what NFL tight end this week when asked which of his 2 quarterbacks were better scramblers.
You threw me on that one. I was thinking Peyton Manning first, and then you said tight end. I was thinking a Manning retirement kind of thing. I'm going to go. Oh shoot!
You can ask for. So you can ask for a hint too if you want to ask a panelist, just to make sure you're on the right track.
I will ask a panelist.
Okay. Would you like to ask Ian, Mitch, or Michael?
Let's go, Michael.
Michael. Okay, Michael. How can you give Eric a hint to tell who this gentleman is?
He is the party boy of the NFL.
Ooh.
Oh, Gronk.
Yes, that is correct. The amount of surprise by this answer.
Fiesta.
Yeah, exactly. You really have to think about this, though. If you're a reporter, you ask a question like this to a man like Rob Gronkowski, who is obviously a dominant force on the field, but has not exactly proven to be the sharpest tool in the shed off the field. You really were setting him up for something like this. But truth be told, the Patriots do not have to worry too much about it, though, when it comes to quarterbacks scrambling. However, when it comes to making pancakes, we'll leave that to the offensive line, of course. That's their job. It's just funny, though. I say for anybody, it's like, a pancake block. I get that. Ian's like, I'm an offensive lineman. I totally understand that. All right, Game Master Scheibe, how did Eric do on our quiz?
Eric got 4 out of 5 correct. He's a winner!
Hey, congratulations, Eric.
Before we head into our break, I'd like to note that Michael gets an additional point for that successful hint.
Nicely done. Taking an early lead. I like it.
We are heading to our first break now, but when we come back, our panelists will have their first crack at showcasing their knowledge of this week's sports news. Don't go away. You're listening to What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz. Woo.
Two Up Front is the American soccer show on the Sports Podcasting Network. Join Baxter Colburn and Simon Provan on Fridays at 11:30 a.m. Central as they cover all things American soccer, with weekly guests from the pro, college, and youth ranks, and digging deep into the American professional leagues. Two Up Front gives you the insight you're looking for. Airing at 11:30 a.m. Central on SportsPodcastingNetwork.com, it's Two Up Front, the world's game from an American perspective.
Hey, it's Kevin of the Sports Podcasting Network on SPN. On top of What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz, you can find a plethora of great sports podcasts. Hardwood Radio, Gridiron Radio, Sports, It's in the Game, Scuderia F1, the second most listened to F1 podcast in the whole world, Soccer Today, live radio shows like Open Lines After Dark, MLS Postgame Show, 202 Soccer Podcast, Off the Woodworks, and much, much more. All that on the Sports Podcasting Network.com.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz. I'm your Game Master, Josh Scheibe. This week, our panelists are Ian DeMarse, Mitch Vomhof, and Michael Beiermeister. And now, here's your host at the BLC Studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everybody. Time now for our panelists to showcase their knowledge about this past week's sports news. Mr. DeMarse, we will start with you. Just when you thought the Green Bay Packers 2016 season was going to be an absolute breeze, what took place this last week that is causing fans to freak out? Only just a little bit, though.
Just a little bit. Well, Jordy Nelson's back, of course, but he did tweak a knee. It wasn't the bad knee.
Yep, that is correct. They're saying he had a hiccup. He had a small hiccup. For those that already know, of course, Nelson did not play at all last season due to tearing his ACL. Now they're saying this is his other knee that has a small hiccup in it, and throwing into question whether or not he'll return for the season and if he'll be able to play on that ACL that he injured last season.
I don't know. It sounds a little more serious if your knee is hiccuping. That doesn't seem like
you should probably talk to your doctor. If
I know they say it's minor, but
it sounds like one of those disclaimers for those drugs, you may experience death, nausea, knee hiccuping.
Knee hiccups.
Sounds like a bad House episode.
Yeah, it's probably lupus if it's on
House. His knee is hiccuping. I just take these pills.
Exactly.
All right, Mitch. Cleveland Indian fans woke up to great news today. Then, moments later, they had it ripped away from them after who turned down their trade offer?
That would be Jonathan Lucroy.
Yes.
Exercising his no-trade clause to stay in Milwaukee.
That is correct. It seemed like it was going to happen. There had been rumors about it for months. Lucroy was going to leave. We had heard rumors of him going out to California. We've heard him going down to the Cubs. We've heard him all over the place. And then somehow at Cleveland, they thought, hey, we won an NBA championship. We're going to get an MLB All-Star. Let's go. I think they were going to give up 5 players, too, for Lucroy.
Something like that.
And then Lucroy said, no thanks.
It's interesting with Lucroy's contract just because of how usually with contracts, it's either you're willing to go anywhere via trade or you just have a no-trade clause where you won't go anywhere. It's interesting with his because he has 8 teams that he says he won't go to.
I saw that. Yeah, I didn't. Like,
So
do you get to pick the 8, like the teams? Like,
I want to be in that
you get to
negotiating
you get to
session.
pick the teams.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's interesting.
Listen, we'll sign this contract.
Because if you
but
look
I
at
can't
some of
go
the
to
teams,
Boston,
why
Cleveland.
not?
I don't know.
I feel like there'd be.
It just seems like the craziest thing.
For me, I'd be like, don't send me to Cleveland. Don't send me to any of the Florida teams. Otherwise than that, I'll deal with it for the
I will
most
go
part.
anywhere south of the Mason-Dixon.
Basically, send me to California. Send me to the East Coast, but don't send me to Cleveland. Dear God, don't send me to Cleveland. All right,
All of my contracts just say, don't send me to Cleveland.
Exactly. Like,
Not that I
Mitch,
sign a lot of professional contracts.
Say, I'm like,
these
when
days.
when you said your full-time job, did you counteroffer them? Be like, yes to everything, but don't send me to Cleveland.
Yes, but you can never send me to
Be
Cleveland.
like, okay, sure. We don't even have an office in Cleveland, but sure. But in
Just in
case.
case.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. All right, Michael, question here for you. Oftentimes, when a fad sweeps the world, it doesn't always ultimately do a lot of people good. However, it was announced this week that what major fad 2 years ago actually did something good for people.
Ooh, that is the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yes.
We're finally finding a cure.
Yes,
That's
that is
awesome.
correct. Most notably, of course, known as Lou Gehrig's disease, over $100 million in contributions to the ALS Association were raised, and they've been able to help continue with research projects that have been able to find a breakthrough as well. So it's amazing. Obviously, there was athletes and celebrities pouring ice all over themselves. I did it. I don't know. Did you do it, Game Master Scheibe?
I did not.
You did not.
I did not. I know.
You're fired.
I know.
You had one job.
Josh hates medicine.
Apparently. Did any of you panelists do the Ice Bucket Challenge,
Yes.
Mitch? I feel like I saw a video of you doing
Yeah,
it.
you
Ian,
sure did.
Michael. What?
I did
Michael?
not. I just donated instead.
You see, I feel like you'd be one of those people that'd be like, heck yeah, like, let's do this. But,
I didn't want to be too cold. I thought that the money would,
so you
so-
give him cold hard cash,
Yeah, I
not
was like-
cold hard ice. Something like that instead. I like it.
Well, we're heading to another break. But when we come back, we'll be having a good time here at the BLC studios.
Where are we?
We'll show you what we mean in just a couple of minutes when we come back on What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz.
I said, don't send me to Cuba.
What's the Score would like to take this time to thank one of our partners, Vavel USA, the international online sports newspaper, for their support. Head over to vavel.com/en-us today as they provide professional reporting on all major sports in the USA. Follow them on Twitter at Vavel_USA and go like their Facebook page for prime access to the ultimate source for sports coverage on the web. We here at What's the Score are proud to partner with a terrific organization like Vavel USA.
Hey guys, this is Baxter, the host of What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. Want to take a minute to remind all of you to go and check us out on social media. You can find us on Facebook at What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz, on Twitter at WTS Sports Quiz, and on Instagram at WTS Sports Quiz as well. And if you enjoy the whole hashtag game, like some of us like to do, hashtag goals, hashtag believer, hashtag, I don't know, I'm running out of hashtags. Anyway, use the hashtag What's the Score on Twitter and Instagram and check out some of the other exclusive content that we do as well. Connecting all of us one smartphone at a time.
Hello all and welcome back to the BLC studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. I'm Josh Scheibe, your game master. Our panelists this week are Mitch Vomhof, Michael Beiermeister, and Ian DeMarse, and they'll have another opportunity to gain the edge before their final showdown in just a bit. Before that, though, here's the host of What's the Score, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everybody. We've got a great show in store for you as we continue to roll on. We want to remind all of you, of course, to go and check out our website. Go to WTSSportsQuiz.com, and you can check out who tops our panelist leaderboard. You can get upcoming show information and also sign up to be a contestant as well.
Playing our next game is David Bobke. Welcome to the show, David.
Thank you. Good to be here.
David, turn down your radio.
Let's say hi, David. Stop. You're a star, David. Stop. Everyone wants to listen to you. All right, David. Well, you're going to be playing our game this week that we are very excited about. As you may or may not know, of course, David, Cubans are everywhere. They come in all shapes and sizes. They come in cigars,
I don't think you're allowed to say that.
sandwiches, small countries, owners of professional basketball teams. The list goes on and on, of course. In this game that we are calling Cuban, or Cuban, we will offer you 7 facts about things that have the name Cuban in them. Calm down, Mitch.
Y'all really changed the show up since I've been gone.
It's like I've been gone, and suddenly
y'all curry or curry. Now we have the fourth dimension.
Now we're playing Cubans now. Yes.
Oh. Yes. This week's edition will have 4 possible answers. Mark Cuban, the Dallas Mavericks owner, whose birthday is today. So happy birthday,
happy birthday, Mr. Cuban.
The other answers are the Cuban national soccer team, the Cuban sandwich, and Cuban cigars. Correctly answer 5 out of 7 questions, and you will win a What's the Score prize. If you get stuck on a question, you can ask one of our panelists for a hint, but only one time. Are you ready to play?
I believe I am prepared.
All right, here is your first question, David. This Cuban has hired 4 coaches since 2009.
I believe that would be the Cuban soccer team.
Yes, that is correct. Nicely done. Starting off with a bang. I like it. All right, here is your next one.
This Cuban played a key role in the 2014 Jon Favreau film, Chef.
I happened to see that movie for my birthday that year, and it was definitely very arousing to the taste buds. So I can gladly say it was the Cuban sandwich.
Yes, that is right.
Okay, I was like, I don't know where this is
going.
going.
I'm like ready with the mute button. Like, okay, thanks for calling. No, all right.
Oh no, the call broke up.
Yeah, going through a tunnel. I don't know. All right, here's your next one, David. This Cuban actually originates from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Cuban that originates from Pittsburgh, I believe, is the Mavericks owner, Mark Cuban.
Yes, that is correct. Nicely done.
All right.
Yes, Mark Cuban, as we mentioned, his birthday today. I'm a little surprised that he ended up down in Dallas, but with his cold and dreary can be in Pittsburgh, I can understand, I guess, why he ended up down in Texas. All right, here's your next one, David.
This Cuban has varieties called Rothschild, Corona, and Churchill.
I'm pretty sure that's not the sandwich because I know people get really strict about their food, and Cubans are, I think, one of 2 ways. I'm going to say the Cuban cigars.
Yes, that is correct. Nicely done.
I ordered a Corona Cuban once, and they told me to leave.
They gave me a lime and said, get out, basically. All right, here's your next one. This Cuban has a player called Carlos Francisco.
Whoever wrote this is really clever. I'm going to go with the Cuban soccer team.
Yeah, look at that. I thought he may have had to have used a hint, but he didn't. All right, here is your next question. This Cuban will get you punched in the face if you put mayo on it in some places.
In reference to my previous comment, I believe that's the Cuban sandwich.
Yes, that is correct. Hey, I feel like if you threw mayo on Mark Cuban, though, he might have a thing or two to say about it.
He would also punch you in the face.
Yes, he would say, I'm out.
Probably most of the Cuban soccer team as well.
Probably, yeah. All right, here's your next one.
This Cuban almost got mixed up in recent political events.
I would have to believe that's got to be, I think he's an independent Mark Cuban.
Yes, that is correct. I was hoping Gary Johnson was going to name him as his VP running mate from the Libertarian.
If you need some attention, name Mark Cuban your running mate.
That'll get you something, yeah. Oh, boy. Game Master Shivey, how did David do on our quiz?
David got 7 out of 7 correct.
Hey,
he's a winner.
Wow, nicely done, David.
This man knows some Cubans.
Thank you so much for playing. All right, panel, let's move on with some questions for you guys now. Mitch, we'll start with you. Baseball has a lot of top plays on a weekly basis, as you, I'm sure, know. But this last week, one player decided to do what on his way to stealing home plate? Or I should say he successfully stole home plate by doing this.
Okay, I think I saw this video. I'm trying to think of how it appeared to me that he did a handstand or some sort of cartwheel. Maybe I'm thinking of...
It's up to you if you want to go with that answer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you you're right or wrong until you
I watched
are or not.
So I'm thinking of Byron Buxton. Plays for the Minnesota Twins, and I'm probably thinking the wrong person, but I'm going to go with him.
Okay. So what's your answer going to
because
be then?
He did do like half a cartwheel while coming home, and I thought that was pretty good.
That's not what we were going for. Unfortunately,
that's stupid. I did not see this.
The man's name is Graham Tews. He slid through the legs of the batter.
Way home. This is a very different thing.
So the team's only run in their
That's
6-1
fine.
loss to, ironically enough, the Collins-Maxwell-Baxter Raiders. Of course, that's probably why they lost. Because come on. Anyway, it was very
Wait, how many names does that team have?
Collins-Maxwell-Baxter Raiders.
Wow.
In Iowa's
impressive.
Class 2A.
Are those the first three of those are like the name of the
I
place?
think so.
And then
Collins,
the Raiders
Maxwell,
is the name of the
Baxter, and then Raiders is the mascot.
okay.
I mean, Baxter could be a mascot, of course.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
As you all know, it's a very suave and exciting name.
My
of course.
intramural team in college was the Baxters.
The Baxters.
We just put your face on a shirt. It was
Thank
great.
you. I like it. It was very interesting, though. He came all the way from second base to score. He bolted from second, rounded third, and then dove through the home plate between the batter's legs.
That's very impressive.
Don't see that every day, that's for sure.
I feel like the umpire was just kind of like, what just...
I mean, what are you
probably
supposed to
have to count
say?
that.
Yeah, what are you supposed to
I don't know
say
if
to
he was
that?
safe, but that probably counts, right?
Like, you're good?
It's a soft safe.
Yeah, like,
Safe?
yes. I think so.
All right, Michael, the next one's for you. This week, what NBA player signed a one-day contract with the New York Knicks in order to retire?
Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah.
Let's go.
There you go.
I was about to say JaVale McGee, but I was like, no. I'm shacked in a fool right now.
Shacked a fool, yes. Amari Stoudemire, some might remember him as being worth $100 million and not living up to any of that. Maybe he did.
You know.
Mitch, what is it? What's the going thought about Amari Stoudemire?
He was a very great player who had very bad knees. And
occasionally bathed in red wine.
He
in
had
his
some
bathtub.
eccentricities, let's say. But I also did hear just this afternoon that he has not fully retired from basketball.
Mm-hmm.
He's going over to Israel to play for the team that he co-owns.
That's what I was hearing too. Yeah. So
which I think is a delightful turn of events. When
I think
basketball
so.
players just start owning teams and being like, "I'm the owner/player now."
Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
Well, I think he said it best, Amari Stoudemire. He just went where he was wanted.
Basically.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a 14-year, 6-time All-Star selection in the NBA.
Yeah.
He wanted to return back to Phoenix, too, because he did play for the Suns last year, and the Suns were like, we're good.
Yeah.
That's basically what it came down to.
I mean, the thing people kind of have forgotten about is how great he was with that whole Steve Nash 7 seconds or less Suns team. It was
it's a heck of a time.
It was
absolutely
really good, man.
I completely agree.
I think he might end up in the Hall of Fame by the time
You think
this is all
so?
said.
Really? You think Stoudemire?
I'm not saying it's a
is
lock. I'm saying he's got a pretty good
second
shot.
ballot, maybe not the first ballot. Okay.
Yeah, give it
Let's take a couple
years.
yeah.
Okay. Ian, question here for you before we head to a break. Johnny Manziel went and told the world this week that he plans to play in the NFL again. What team did he specifically say he wants to play for?
Ooh, I'm going to need a hint for that
I'm
one.
going to need a hint. Okay, let's just say this team has a history of bringing in rejects to play for them. Because their owner just doesn't
He already
give it.
played for the Cleveland Browns, though.
Oh.
History of rejects. Is it the Cowboys?
Yes, that is correct. I mean, I think congratulations are in order to Cowboy fans. I mean, you have your quarterback of the future, I feel like. If you do sign Johnny Manziel. For those that haven't seen, Tony Romo showed up to practice this week. He looked very fed. He looked very full. Like
he was like a 2015 Eddie Lacy.
I was going to say, if people remember those pictures of Eddie Lacy, it's like, I think they say the camera adds about 80 pounds, and I'm pretty sure that's what had happened to Tony Romo. But we all know that this would not be a shocking move if Jerry Jones did decide to do it, because we heard about Greg Hardy. We've heard about all different kinds of players. The Cowboys are like, you killed somebody? Come on. We haven't won a Super Bowl in years. We need you. Come on in.
It's interesting just because of the fact that when he was drafted, Jerry Jones was considering drafting him in the
Yes,
first round.
that was the big thing. Even when he was still a free agent on the Browns, or when he was still on the Browns, there was rumors, hey, the Cowboys might come and try to trade for him or something like that. The NFL is a hot mess as far as we know, especially when it comes to the Browns and the Cowboys as well.
All right, well, it's time for another break, but don't worry, we'll be right back, and our panelists will have another chance to answer some questions about this week's sports news. Don't go away. You're listening to What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz. Woo.
Hey guys, this is Baxter Colburn, host of What's the Score, the sports news quiz. If you enjoy listening to What's the Score, why not go and donate to our Patreon account today? That's patreon.com. Search for What's the Score and donate today. You can get awesome t-shirts, before the show shout-outs, and so much more. Tell your friends about us. Hey, if you donate, we'd be happy to give you a shout-out and even have you come on the show and play a game or two with us as well.
James Corsmo of TitletownSoundoff.com here with the man they call Bobo.
Howdy.
And we want to tell you a bit about our podcast, Titletown Sound.
We're fans of the Green Bay Packers, as I'm sure many of you are, and we know there are plenty of opinions out there, but we think we give you some unique takes that vary between the level-headed and sensible, all the way to the entertainingly absurd.
That's our specialty, the entertainingly absurd.
Sure is. We've got other hosts to talk sensible-like.
So the website is Titletown Sound Off, and the podcast is Titletown Sound?
That's right.
So the podcast just leaves off the off.
Yes.
So fans of the Packers should go in to TitletownSoundoff.com to get into the podcast.
Exactly.
That's a lot of prepositions.
Sure is, James. It sure is. Now back to two of my favorite prepositions on the interwebs, Baxter and Josh.
Those are nouns.
Oh yeah.
Welcome back to What's the Score, the sports news quiz, and thanks for listening in. We're broadcasting from the BLC studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe, and we're playing this week with Michael Beiermeister, Ian DeMarse, and Mitch Vomhof. And here again is the host of What's the Score, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everybody. Quick reminder for all of you that you can find the show on demand anytime on Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, and the Sports Podcasting Network as well. Time now for a segment that I like to call Stump the Scheibe. All right, for the way this works, Game Master Scheibe is given two sports facts. One of them is true, one of them is false, and he must use his powers of deductive reasoning to figure out which one is the true fact. Are you ready, Game Master Scheibe?
I'm ready. I've got my notebook and my pen here. We'll see what happens. I'm probably not going to be able to use it, but
you need it. Yeah,
well,
this is radio. It's not like it's like Pictionary.
getting my thoughts down.
Of course. All right, here is your first one. The soccer club Chelsea in England got its name from the daughter of Queen Elizabeth I. That's the first one. And the second one, up until 1936. There we go, up until 1936. The jump ball in basketball took place at center court after every single basket that was made.
That's a tough one.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Let's see. I don't know whether, or was it Elizabeth I, you said?
Elizabeth I,
okay.
Yes. Her daughter named Chelsea was the influence. That's why they named the Chelsea Soccer Club in honor of the Queen, because everyone loves the Queen.
I rather doubt that, because there is a location in England called Chelsea. So I'm going to go with the second one. I'm going to go with the jump ball. You said before 1936?
Yes, up until 1936.
I'm going to go with that one.
Yes, that is correct. Nicely done.
Hey.
Well done. We can give him a round of applause. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, how interesting. Up until 1936, the jump ball, after every single basket, everybody went back to half court, and they did it all from there again and just did it for the heck of it. I don't know why, but I guess I'm glad they changed it back in the day. I can't imagine trying to do that now.
I was going to say, those games
horribly
must have
annoying,
dragged on for a while.
Yeah, I did see a fun fact the other day that, an average baseball game takes 3.5 hours to play. There's only 18 minutes of actual play that occurs on average per baseball game.
That sounds about right, actually.
Yes, that's a real fact. Like, that's not like a made up, that's absolutely real. Anyway, so nicely done, Game Master Scheibe. You got it correct this time.
Thank you very much. And now it's time for our last slate of questions for our panelists this week. Michael, the first one's for you. One skydiver decided to test the odds this week by doing what?
Interesting. Yes.
Can I get skydiving, huh?
You can get a hint if you'd like to. Game Master Scheibe, do you have a hint for Michael?
I'm having a difficulty coming up with one.
So a hint for something like this, Michael. I mean, as you know, when you skydive, there's certain things that you use when you skydive. But
He jumped without a parachute.
yes, that's exactly what it was. 42-year-old Luke Atkins had done over 18,000 jumps before this, and he decided to jump from 25,000 feet into a net, 100 feet by 100 feet, in a feat that was broadcast live on Fox, and he did it, and he survived, but he did say after the fact, yeah, I was a little nervous. I mean...
No.
Oh, really?
Just a
You
little...
jumped out of a plane with nothing
Just
to stop you?
All he said, he was like,
I'm a little
literally, like,
nervous.
he's like, yeah, I was a little nervous when I did that, but... When you've jumped 18,000 times out of a plane now, I feel like you're used to falling, but still.
That's every day.
Seriously, pretty much. Every day is like...
Yeah, like, how many days have I lived?
I wonder how many times he, like, went to work like that. Like, time for work, like, flew up and then just jumped out. Like, I gotta go.
Traffic's real bad today.
Seriously, I would take the plane and just jump out, parachute over work. Oh, my goodness. All right, question for you, Ian. The crying Michael Jordan meme is literally everywhere, and I know Mitch Haven has a tattoo on his chest about it because
you weren't supposed to see that.
you Instagrammed it. I don't know. Anyway,
I didn't know you followed me.
Well, this week the meme made another appearance. Where?
Ooh, I'm gonna need a hint for that one.
You're gonna need a hint on that one. Okay. Well, we know about it in the States, but it was not in the States. It took place somewhere else, but it wasn't even on the internet either that it appeared. So that's kind of like a two-parted hint, but.
That's interesting. Let's see. Will this have something to do with the Olympics?
No, it did not, unfortunately. It was actually the head picture for an international newspaper talking about Michael Jordan. For those that know, Michael Jordan spoke out last week talking about to stopping the police brutality that's been going on. He donated $2 million as well, so an international newspaper up in Malawi decided to pick it up, and they said, well, hey, we needed a picture. I don't know. How do you say it? Is it Malawi?
Yes.
Okay, whatever. You want to host the show, you can. Whatever.
About to have another
Malawi.
international
We'll go with that. Malawi, whatever. Anyway.
Mike.
Seriously. Anyway, so the reason that they did this, they say, though, is because the sports editor for the paper said, well, when I read the letter from Jordan, I thought I pictured him crying. So I figured the crying Jordan meme would be perfect. And it got published and, of course, went viral. And people have been losing their minds ever since then. I mean, just something like this where you're like, did nobody think about it? But when you're off in a country like Malawi that no one even really knows about, where is Malawi? Does anybody know where Malawi is?
That would be Africa.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, good for them.
Also, I believe that I believe that this may be the first time that Malawi print journalism is actually in the news.
Yes, because the entire paper was in English, though, too, from what I was looking at. So I don't know if they're close to South Africa, where like normal standard English is a thing, or I don't know. We'll have someone Google where Malawi is, apparently. Either way,
right, let's move on to our next question. Okay, Mitch, the final question's for you. Warren Sapp is not only an NFL Hall of Famer and a Super Bowl winner, but after this week, he's also a what?
I have not heard anyone talk about Warren Sapp in several years. Could I get a hint?
Dun 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 dun.
Starring in the new Jaws movie?
No.
Oh no! I actually do know this one now, but it's too late.
No, it's too late. Well, now that
he was bitten by a shark.
Yes, that is.
So
true.
I lied when I said that I hadn't heard about him because I did read a story about Warren Sapp being bitten by a shark, but for whatever reason, didn't quite register as Warren Sapp. I don't know who I thought it was.
Well, I mean, it's very interesting now. I mean, yeah, he said he was. What they can say is that he was bitten by a 4-foot nurse shark, and it appeared to be going for a lobster while Sapp was lobster hunting. But
lobster, as you do,
lobster fishing, spearing. King Triton and Warren Sapp were lobstering. It's not a day for English on the show today, apparently. I don't know. Either way, though, but he said that the shark got a little chunk out of me, but we got dinner. And it was hashtag winning, is what he said when he posted about it on Instagram. If you've seen the picture, like it's a good bite.
No,
like, it's like a full bite.
Whatever
on
kind of shark
own.
gets you, you got
usually you got get
by
you
a
got
shark.
Got getting did. Yes,
go on.
Something like that. I don't know.
Well, folks, it's time for me to break up the fun once again. But when we come back, our final contestant will get to name some names. You'll see what we mean when we come back on What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz.
You are listening to the Sports Podcasting Network. You're a big soccer fan? SPN is the place to be. USL Radio, NASL Nightcap, 2 Solitude Soccer Podcasts, Off the Woodworks, Ours is the Fury, 2S Extra, the rest of the story. SPN is the place to be.
Hey everyone, this is Baxter Colburn, host of What's the Score, the sports news quiz.
And I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe.
If you think you are smart enough, or smarter than a 5th grader, and want to play our games on air, you can either come by the studio or you can call us, but there's a few different ways you can get a hold of us.
If you'd like to email us, you can do so at WTSSportsQuiz@gmail.com.
Or for you social media savants, head over to Facebook, What's the Score, the sports news quiz, or Twitter, WTS Sports Quiz. Now back to the action with myself and Josh Scheibe.
Welcome back, everyone. This is What's the Score, the sports news quiz. I'm Josh Scheibe, your game master. Our Name 5 panelist showdown is coming up, but first, we have a new game called Your Name, Please. Here to get the game going is your host at the BLC studios here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everybody. Fantastic show so far. Just a reminder for all of you to go check out our website, WTSSportsQuiz.com. If Ian wins our Name 5 panelist showdown, I think he becomes either within a point or absolutely overtakes the great Fifini. Are you saying it'll be a tie, you think?
It's a tie, yeah.
It's officially a tie if you end up pulling off the victory today. How interesting. And we have to get you and the great Fifini on again to actually do battle, I feel like. All right. I did my best Piglet impersonation. There. Anyway, all right. Let's move on with the show, Game Master Scheibe.
Well, it's time now to welcome in our next contestant. Playing our final game is Brian Rowitz. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, Brian, this week, Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney was on Mike and Mike, aside from all the important topics he covered. Did anybody else just fall in love with his name, I feel like? I mean, that's really what's up we care about more so than anything, the fact that his parents were smart enough to name him Dabo. But anyway, we decided to take a look around the college football world to find other fantastic names that make us laugh and also thank our parents for not giving us such names as well.
In this game, which we're calling Your Name, Please, we will give you the name of a coach, and you have to tell us if it's a real person or a made-up one. Correctly answer 5 out of 7 questions, and you'll win a What's the Score prize. Remember, you can ask a panelist for a hint on one question, so make sure you choose wisely. Are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
All right, here is your first one. The name of this coach is Sonny Dykes. Is that a real or a fake coach?
That is a real coach.
Yes, that is correct. He is the head coach at Cal. All right, here's your next one.
Irv Blitzer. Is that real or fake?
Herb Blitzer. That is fake.
Yes, that is correct. He is the Jamaican bobsled coach from Cool Runnings, Irv Blitzer.
Let's not forget the famous quote from that movie. Feel the rhythm, feel the run, get on up, it's bobsled time.
Yeah, I like it. All right, here is your next one. Bill Blankenship.
Bill Blankenship, that is a real coach.
Yes, that is correct. Nicely done. He is the head coach at Tulsa. All right, here's your next one.
That's a really good combination of like an average first name and a last name that sounds like a curse.
Yes, you've been Blankenshipped. Oh, no! Exactly, I like it.
All right, here's your next one. Sparky Pilastri.
That one could be real, could be fake, but I'm going to go fake.
Yes, that is correct. Nicely done. He is the coach from the movie Bring It On, of course.
Let's not forget his famous quote. These aren't spirit fingers, but these are spirit
Ian
fingers.
providing
and
us
these
with
are gold.
I know this is radio, but Ian has been interpretively dancing every single fake coach so far, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it.
Absolutely amazing. All right, here's your next one. Is Major Applewhite a real or a fake coach name?
Major Applewhite is a real name.
Yes.
Player and coach.
Yes, that is correct. Major Applewhite is the offensive coordinator for Houston University. Here is your next one.
Is the name Hardy Nickerson real or fake?
Hardy Nickerson. That sounds like a good American football name. I'm going to go real.
Yes, that is correct. He is the defensive coordinator at the University of Illinois. All right, let's see if we can go for perfect. Is Gordon Bombay a real or a fake coach?
I mean, he was pretty clutch and being nice to him, but I'm going to go fake on this one.
Yes, that is correct. He, of course, is the coach from the Mighty Ducks movies. Do you have any quotes
And
for
his
us,
famous
Ian?
line is?
I don't have any
Oh,
famous
come
lines.
on.
Ducks fly together.
Oh, yeah. Ducks fly together.
Quack, quack.
We got it. We got
Yes,
it.
and all that stuff.
Perfect
Game
on the
Master
questions,
Scheibe.
perfect on the quotes. Excellent. Good work, guys.
How did Brian do on our quiz?
Brian got 7 out of 7 correct.
Hey!
He's a winner.
Thank you so much for playing, Brian.
The moment you've all been waiting for is almost here. Stick around and listen to our panelists duke it out on the Name 5 Panelist Showdown coming up right after the break. Don't go away. You're listening to What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz. Hello all, I'm Josh Scheibe, your game master here at What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz. Thanks for listening in. I may not know much about sports, but what I do know about are our social media pages. Check us out on Facebook at What's the Score, or Twitter and Instagram at WTS Sports Quiz. Thanks very much for listening. Hi everyone, I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe.
And I'm your host, Baxter Colburn.
Hey, if you think the show is worth at least $1, why don't you go to our Patreon account?
We'd be very grateful if you donate to the show. That's how people like Josh and I stay employed, or pretend to be employed at least. Thank you so much for listening to What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz. And now, back to more sports trivia action.
Hope my check's in the mail. Hello and welcome back. Thanks for listening to What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz. I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe. Our panelists have been warming up for their final showdown. Ian has been doing interpretive dance the entire time. We'll give them another minute to prepare themselves here while I once again introduce your host at the BLC studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, it is time for the best part of the show, Game Master Scheibe. What time is it?
It's time for the Name 5 Panelist Showdown.
I always feel like we need like the fireworks and like the flyover of the Blue Angels all at the same time when we do that.
I requested my pyro.
Yes.
Oh, guys.
I love it.
All right, well, our panelists will be given 4 topics in which they will have 10 seconds to name 5 people, teams, places, or things related to the sports world. Each panelist will have the same category. However, they cannot repeat answers. 1 point is awarded for each correct answer.
Game Master Scheibe, can you give us the scores, please?
I can. Mitch has 1 point, Ian has 2, and Michael is in the lead with 4.
Oh, how nice. Nicely done, Michael. All right, well, Mitch,
hey,
you'll be starting
hi.
us off, sir.
Sure.
The first category will be naming 5 championship game names. So I will use an example just so you guys know. So MLS Cup is a championship game, if that makes any sense.
Okay,
to you.
yeah.
I also chose the soccer one because nobody likes soccer on this show, apparently.
Totally.
So, all right, 10 seconds.
We had this discussion.
And begin.
You have the World Series, you have the NBA Finals, you have the Stanley Cup, you have the Super Bowl, and you have the World Cup.
Yes, there you go. He got 5. Nicely done.
Hey.
All right, Ian, over to you, sir. 10 seconds and begin.
All right, you got the gold medal game. You got the bronze medal game. Oh, those probably wouldn't count.
Gold medal does.
Yeah, gold medal does. Okay, you got the College World Series.
Yes, he got it. He got 2. Okay.
All right.
And over to Michael. We don't clap for 2s. We clap for 5s on this show. All right, Michael, 10 seconds and begin.
You've got the Capital One Cup. You've got WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You've got the
Okay.
title. Does title fight count for MMA?
Sure.
I might as well just throw
Give
that
you that
out
one.
there.
That's fine. Okay, there you go. He got 3. Okay. All right, moving on to round number 2. We're headed over to Ian now on this one. Ian, you're going to be naming 5 Major League Baseball teams. 5 Major League Baseball teams. 10 seconds, and begin.
Chicago Cubs, Chicago White Sox, Detroit Tigers, the Los Angeles Angels, and the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Woo! Like that. 5.4 seconds. Woo. That's Deion Sanders D1 speed right there. Holy cow. All right.
I ran a 5.440 once.
Yeah, right. Like, wait, where? Oh, on name 5. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
all right.
no, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. All right, Michael, 10 seconds and begin.
San Diego Padres, Miami Marlins, Houston Astros, Texas Rangers, and Milwaukee Brewers.
There you go. You got 5. All right. That was a little slower. 6 seconds, I think. All right, Mitch, 10 seconds for you and begin.
You got the Cleveland Indians, the New York Yankees, the New York Mets, the Boston Red Sox, and the Baltimore Orioles.
There you go. He got 5 as well. I forgot Baltimore had a team.
Yeah,
strange. That would also be a no trade clause to the Baltimore Orioles. I would also not want to go play for them.
Please, not Baltimore.
Yeah.
Please.
Please. All right, Michael. We'll be starting with you now on this one. You'll be naming 5 members of the NFL Hall of Fame. Okay. Members of the NFL Hall of Fame. 10 seconds and begin.
Bart Starr, Kurt Warner, Brett Favre, Paul Hornung, and Eric Dickerson.
There you go. You got all 5. Nicely done. Over to you, Mitch. 10 seconds and begin.
We got Barry Sanders. We got Jerry Rice. Joe Montana.
There you go. Yes, he got 3. Okay. Over to you, Ian. 10 seconds. Begin.
All right, John Elway, Emmitt Smith, Deion Sanders, Michael Irvin, and we're going to go with Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, yes, I believe so, yes. We all remember Shannon Sharp. Love Shannon. All right, Game Master Shibeys, we head into the final round. What are the scores?
We have a tie.
Oh.
Ian and Mitch are at 14, and Michael's in the lead with 17.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. All right, well, for those of you that may or may not know, our final round works like this. We do give a category, but our players have 10 seconds to name as many of, not just 5. So you can name as many of, especially for situations like this. It raises the stakes a little bit higher. Game Master Scheibe, who should go out of our tiebreaker first?
Let's go alphabetical and go Ian first.
Ian first. So 10 seconds to name as many of. I'm fairly proud of this one. NFL players that have played on more than one team.
Okay.
10 seconds and begin.
All right, you got Brett Favre, you got Randy Moss, you have Martellus Bennett, you have Robert Griffin III, you have Nick Foles, you have
Time. He got 5. Okay.
Goodness.
So what are we looking at now, Game Master Scheibe?
Mitch has 14 points, and Michael has 17.
Okay.
Ian has 19.
All right, so Ian is currently in the lead.
That's correct.
All right, Mitch, you are up next. You need at least 5 to tie.
Are we talking current or any NFL players?
Any for right
Any.
now. Yep, I did not specify. I would have.
Not that that's going to help me a whole lot, but
Yes. All right, 10 seconds.
Yep.
And go.
We got Greg Jennings, DeMarco Murray. This is how it always goes.
Yeah.
Get the first 2.
Time. All right, so as we head into this last bit for Michael, what is happening?
Michael needs 2 to tie and 3 to win.
Okay, 2 to tie, 3 to win. 10 seconds, Michael, and begin.
Martellus Bennett,
Already said.
Michael Vick, LaShawn McCoy, and this is wrong. Travis Benjamin.
Did he get it? Yes, he did. Oh, at the buzzer.
Everyone's favorite tiebreaker, Travis Benjamin.
Game Master Scheibe, what are the scores?
The scores are Mitch in third with 16, Ian in second with 19, and Michael Beiermeister with 20 points.
Sneaking it out.
The streak is over. Ian
I think you
DeMarse.
owe Travis Benjamin like $20 now.
Seriously, somewhere here he's like, I heard my name. I'm relevant.
I had to Google it.
Oh my goodness. Who are the 2 teams he played for?
The first
San
Google
Diego
hit
Chargers is who the team he's on right now.
And then
I believe he was
with the Browns.
Yeah,
So he was on the Browns. I was like, I knew he
Yeah.
played for the Browns, and I thought he just wasn't relevant anymore.
I don't know why I thought of him, but bless his heart.
Bless his heart. He won me name 5, dang it, so bless his heart. Well, Ian, we'll start with you as we do with our post-game interviews. The streak is finally over. You are now 4-1-0 on the panel, but still a good showing, of course, from you, but just not quite the ending.
That first one got me with the title ones. He named all the good ones right away that are all familiar. Then it was a rough one. It was definitely fun again to be on here, and I'm going to be looking forward to come back to start a new streak next time.
Absolutely. Mitch, not second place, but third this week. But you gave us a run for their money in the beginning, but you had a slow showing there. And,
I'm still trying to knock the rust off, get my sea legs under me. Whatever other sports cliche you can come up with. I'll be
if
back.
you were fully healthy, you'd have done better.
Exactly.
Like that,
just coming off of IR, still trying to figure it out. It'll be fine.
You're a switch hitter. You're not used to batting like this. I totally get that. Working out the kinks. And then, Michael, I think you are also undefeated now, too. This is the third time you've been on the show, and now you have 3 consecutive victories as well.
I'm just happy I could drop WrestleMania somewhere in the show today.
Someone had to.
So,
the one.
Someone had to.
The one time.
That is
Lance Allen and Kevin Holden would be proud because our last show, they were all about that. So somewhere they are saluting you and thanking you for your service, of course.
Yes. WWE.
Represent. I'm going to have to get the 3 of you guys on a show sometime. It'll just be an all-wrestling show.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I like it. Well, What's the Score has been a production of the Sports Podcasting Network. A special thanks to our contestants and studio audience here at the VLC studios.
Yeah.
Our panelists this week have been Ian DeMarse, Mitch Vomhof, and Michael Beiermeister. Our social media producer is Tony Larson. Our social media staff is comprised of Emily Reister, Brittany Peterson, Christian Gill. Our theme was composed by Danny Hoffenstein, and our show producer has been David Bobke, and the executive producer and director of What's the Score is Liz Colburn.
I've been your game master, Josh Scheibe.
And I've been your host, Baxter Colburn. Thanks for listening. We'll see you all again next time on What's the Score.